Okay. Hey guys, we're back. For some reason, we had a little internet connection problem here, but hopefully everybody's still here, and this video obviously will be divided into two in our page. But anyway, this is the second part, I guess. And again, talking about money and talking about serving God and mammon, talking about serving God and at the same time serving money. What do we do? What do we do in our lives? What do we do that we are leaving so much to be done in the function of acquiring more and more? We always want peace and tranquility. We always want a less attached life. Yet we are working to earn more things or collect more things that will make us attached. And the problem is, we sometimes put our own bodies at risk to acquire more. How many of us, and we'll know this again in the codification, we always learn about how Kardec says that there is absolutely nothing wrong in having good things and having nice things and caring for your appearance and caring for your family, but at what expense? And it's funny because sometimes I'll ask people that have so much more, and so much more than at least I believe I have. And I asked them either to go for a weekend trip with, or ask them if when was the last time they actually went out to eat something special with someone special. And by that I may mean a barbecue somewhere. It doesn't mean the expensive things. But the thing is not the money itself, it's the time that they don't have. How many of us tie money with our times? How many of us work our bodies to the bone? And again, in the Spirit's book, you will find this very sad thing where people will actually work their health to acquire money, and that is actually going completely against a spiritual person or a person that's seeking peace and tranquility and to grow spiritually. So the whole point is, what are you doing with your life that is related with the acquisition of material things? When I ask you, when was the last time that you actually made a donation, an anonymous donation to someone who truly needed? When was the last time that you actually stopped and reflected around you on all the invitations you have been getting, or all the things that you could invite others to come towards you, that you will, I'm not saying, throw in a party or anything like that. What I'm saying is, why do we always expect others? And at the same time, why do we put so much time in our lives to just acquire? And we'll see that we'll buy a house and we want to knock down a wall to put another wall. We have a beautiful kitchen, but we want to completely undo this kitchen to put a brand new kitchen. We are always in the process of continuing to acquire and never enjoy what we have. I seldom see someone who actually says, I'm very content with my life. Everything is very good. And that doesn't mean stagnation. That doesn't mean that we have to stop and, oh, I got a job already, I make enough to support myself, so that's it. That is not the point, because too much comfort usually tells that there's something also that's not right. So we're not talking about stagnation. We're talking about, are you really distributing your time? Or are you all about money? Are you all about not going to your friend's picnic because there is an overtime at work? When is it that you got an invitation and you perhaps are saying no because you don't want to spend money? Yet we keep growing. And I always say our bodies get a little weaker. We may not want to do the things we always did before. There is so many opportunities to meet other cultures, to meet other people, to enjoy the people that God has given us on this planet. And in the society, it does involve money. And sometimes all we think about, and I am absolutely not saying that we should not save. We absolutely should, and we should be the least of a burden to others that we can possibly be. That includes, in my opinion now, the government, that includes anything else. If there's times in my life that I need it, I absolutely, that's why we live in societies, to help those who need. But at the same time, is it is there something I can do to lessen the burden on my parents, to lessen the burden on whatever it is? So absolutely, we should have our savings. We absolutely should work and live a comfortable life and renovate that kitchen when we want to. The thing is, if I only live for that, um, if you don't have more than you have, maybe there is a spiritual lesson in that as well, as long as you're trying to grow. Perhaps we can't grow financially because we need to grow spiritually. You see, when we stop and think about this, perhaps I have some pain or some ailment or something in my body that prevents me, because I know that if I didn't, I would work myself to that illness. Or that illness, either it's a prevention for me to continue to harm my body to a point where it would be much worse. And again, we have to really think about this. Do you um, belong to this world? Or do the things in this world, better yet, do the things that you have belong to you, or you belong to the things you have? It's so sad if we have to say, listen, you need to leave your house right now, leave everything behind. Um, we've known of people that will stay in cases of severe weather where they put their lives at risk because of the things they have. And that is, again, a materialistic frame of mind where you will put things before you and before people. And the subject of money, I wanted to end this morning coffee for the soul. It's very interesting for us to think and to say, am I refusing to live? Am I refusing to go to my church, to my synagogue, to my spiritist center, because I have the extra job, because it's all about what I need to do with my work, and I'm leaving no time for the things of God. And again, in Matthew's, we always learn about everything. Do not be anxious about anything. We talked about anxiety here in a few topics, but when Jesus says don't be anxious, and anxiety is a thing that we really should work on. How much of money is bringing us into this anxiety state? And if we think about it, there's probably a lot more than we'd like to admit. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be secure in our jobs, that we shouldn't grow and have nice things. This is all biblical. We should have. The problem is, are you really putting your spiritual growth? Are you really putting yourself first before all the extras that will appear in your life? And let's think about that. When was the last time that you made money work for you and you did not just work for money? Sometimes we can have money and do make some kind of an investment, downgrade in our lives, because again, every time that we get a raise, we have this tendency to also elevate our way of living. If we make this extra, then I'm going to buy a better car that perhaps I really don't need. And we are always growing in quote unquote here, we're always growing accordingly to how much we make. And we start to put the spiritual things, the things that will truly help us, because we are spirits, kind of to the side. And that's why, so wisely, when Matthew says it's impossible to serve Mammon and God, or two gods, the God of money, let's put it that way, and our God of spirituality. Because the more you go towards one, the less the other one kind of is important in your lives. So let's stop and think about that. And the opposite is also true. The more that you seek spirituality, the less the material things will seem to you don't belong to them as much. They don't matter as much. You see things in a thankful way. Of course, I have a cell phone, and I say I'm so thankful for it, and I need it for my work, and it's I'm But at the same time, I don't belong to it. I don't need to work in a day that I could be doing something also with my family to acquire the latest version of this phone. Again, my friends, thank you so much for being here. Sorry for the interruption. I don't know what happened, but you can get this morning coffee for the soul at the Kardec Radio website as well, so you can see in its entirety. It's also here, the I guess the first 5 minutes. Thank you so much, and please leave suggestions so I can talk about whatever topic. I'll do a little study on it, and we'll bring it up here. Thank you, and have a wonderful Sunday.